This is Captain Henrik recording up on the bridge here in the Ovation of the Seas. Currently we are docked in Seattle on this day number 2 on our cruise that's going to ultimately take us all the way to Hawaii. First of all, again, a warm welcome aboard, and I hope that you have settled in nicely in your staterooms, and that you slowly but surely finding your way around this very large ship, the Ovation of the Seas, as it is the largest ship ever to sail in these waters. We just completed our first Alaska season, being the largest cruise ship ever to sail in Southeast Alaska. And now it's time to embark on this very long voyage all the way from Seattle now down to Hawaii. So I've prepared a brief presentation. The idea is for you to get sort of a general awareness of how this voyage will progress, some useful information, and hopefully I'll be answering some of your questions that I'm sure many of you have. To do this, I will utilize this chart that's displayed behind me. I'll go right ahead and explain some of the features of this chart. First of all, geographically, as you can see, the vast Pacific, which we are about to cross down to Hawaii. You see United States, Southeast Alaska, and now Canada, right here, Seattle, and United States, the coast of Washington, Oregon, and also the Californian coast. We have Mexico down there. The blue line indicates our intended track, and it is indeed a very long voyage. We're going to be sailing at 2,361 nautical miles from Seattle down to the first destination, which is the Na coast on the island of Kauai. First of all, the conversions, we all use different measures of distance. At sea, the official way to measure distance is by nautical miles. Now, if you want to convert this into statute miles, you simply have to multiply with 1.15. And for those of you who are using kilometers, you will need to multiply with 1.85. So from here on forward, I will be talking about nautical miles, and also during my addresses, my announcements, you will hear me using the term nautical mile, and you simply have to make your own conversions. We'll have to maintain an average speed of 20.5 knots, which is quite a high speed. Again, for those of you who are not familiar with the terminology of knots, it is the way of describing the speed at sea. Your conversion is the same. 2 miles per hour, just multiply with 1.15, and kilometers per hour, multiply with 1.85. So with that out of the way, we can continue. It is a long voyage. Just for your information, we anticipate to be burning 950 tons of fuel in order to bring the ship all the way from Seattle to the Na coast, and that equals about 250,000 gallons of fuel. That's a fair amount. We have ample of fuel on board. In Seattle, we took on board, nearly filled up our tanks. We have a total of 2,550 metric tons of fuel on board, which equals 675,000 gallons of fuel. So as good seamanship dictates, it's always good practice to keep ample of fuel on board. So that is the great overview. We're going to also utilize this chart for weather. I mean, as a captain here on board or any ship, it's one of my main duties to be fully aware of the weather and the weather up ahead, to keep studying the forecasts as they come in several times per day, and to the best of my abilities try to predict what the weather will be like for the next days. These days we have very reliable sources. I will utilize this chart, and we can go ahead and display the air pressure. As you see, we got our isobars. You can see some frontal systems, and very useful in order to predict weather. Also, we can get winds on here. Little arrows there indicating the wind direction and the wind force, and also the sea state. This is indicated by colors, the waves that we may encounter. And the rule of thumb here really is the darker the colors, the more adverse the sea state. So the lighter and light blue colors are favorable conditions, and when it gets more into the yellow and orange and red, it would indicate more adverse sea state. We can also add another feature, which is the swell. Now the swell is very important, especially for a ship this size. The swells are large waves that are generated over thousands of miles, and not necessarily visible to the naked eye, but they are very long and heavy waves that may cause a ship of this size to move. So I can see them already here indicated with little green arrows. We'll just be talking about this in a bit more detail as we'll break down this entire voyage into day-by-day segments. So let's just go right ahead. So we set out from Seattle, which was our day number 2, Saturday. We're now into day number 3, which is the Sunday the 22nd of September. We are now out here in the Pacific, and this Monday, this day number 3, will be mostly affected by this weather system that's moving in from the west, and we expect fairly cold temperatures, especially in the morning, down in the 50s, the lower 50s, and up to 63 Fahrenheit. That's between 12 to 17 degrees Celsius, occasional showers, and the winds mostly out of the west-northwest. So that is the prediction for that day. Also on this particular day, day number 3, the 22nd of September, we do anticipate slight movement in the ship, as there is a heavy swell that's traveled thousands of miles across the Pacific, and we tend to feel here in this area. So I'm just going to say, if you are susceptible to motion sickness, as we set out from Seattle, this should be a good time for you to take the necessary precautions to prepare your body for these long swells. They're not adverse, but they are noticeable, and the ship, even this size ship, will be moving in the oceans in these swells. So important to remember, if you are susceptible to motion sickness, take the necessary precautions before we set out in the Pacific. So basically that day is, like we said, cold and with slight movements. The following day, as you can see, the winds have now backed to more west-southwesterly direction. Temperatures will be climbing steadily as we're heading south. This is now day number 4, the 23rd of September. We're expecting 60s. That is between 16 to 21 degrees Celsius, and sunny spells are expected, along with rain showers as well. But again, we'll still be feeling that swell. This goes for the first 2 days out in the Pacific. Particularly, we will be feeling the movement of the ship, and the same thing applies. Try to take the necessary precautions if you are susceptible to motion sickness. At this point, we are moving further and further away from the coast. Now, on day number 5, this is now the 24th of September, we are now well and truly into the much warmer parts of the ocean. Temperatures are now going to be up in the 70s, between 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, much more sunshine, and the winds are dying down as well. And as you can see, they're backed around all the way down to a bit south, and they come all the way around to these more steady prevailing trade winds that you have in the more southerly latitudes of the Pacific, the more easterly winds. So you'll feel a different, much different day on that day number 5. Day number 5 is also an interesting day in other terms. It is in the early morning hours of day number 5 is estimated around 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll be halfway. That's a bit back here, halfway between Seattle and Napali coast, and that means we're more than 1,000 nautical miles from nearest land, more than 1,000 miles from the California coast, and also 1,000 miles to Hawaii. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most remote place that we will find ourselves on this very long voyage from Seattle to Hawaii. And all over a pleasant day on the 24th. Temperatures, like I said, are now up in the 70s, 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. Then we're down to the day number 6, which is then the Wednesday, 25th. And now we are enjoying these easterly winds, high pressure, and again, much less movement in the ship. And the temperatures are now in the 24 to 26 degrees Celsius, meaning 75 to 79, nearly 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And these are the days that we have long anticipated here. I'm speaking on behalf of all the members of staff and crew here on board who have served since early May, sailing in Alaska. We're all looking forward to the sunshine and those warmer, pleasant temperatures down here in these waters. So that is day number 6, Wednesday 25th. All in all, a pleasant day. Then day number 7, on the Thursday, 26th of September, we will then make our arrival, sailing by the beautiful Napali coast on the northwest side of the island of Kauai, the westernmost islands of Hawaii. Once we get a bit closer to Hawaii, we'll make another presentation and we'll talk more in detail about the Hawaiian Islands and what you can expect down there. For now, we will leave it with the overview of this particular voyage. As you may already know, there will be time changes. We're leaving Seattle, which is zone 7 west, 7 hours from the universal time, Greenwich time, and we'll be adjusting our clocks 1 hour back. So on typically happens at 2 o'clock in the morning. So on the 22nd, on day number 3, as you wake up, we're going 1 hour back, and then the following day another hour back, and the following day and 1 hour back. So 3 time adjustments will be made on this voyage down to Hawaii, since Hawaii is time zone 10 west, meaning it's 10 hours from universal time, Greenwich Mean Time. So from 7 to 10, meaning we need 3 hours back, and we do that on day number 3, 4, and 5. And that's the time change is taken care of. This happens in the middle of the night. There will be, of course, information all along. I will give you more detailed weather updates on my daily addresses. This is my best estimate as we set out from Seattle. I hope that it had helped. That this has helped you gain a little bit of awareness of this very long, but also hopefully very enjoyable voyage down to Hawaii. As always, while you are on board the ship, particularly this cruise ship crossing the ocean, it is important to always be mindful of your steps as you're moving around the ship. Always hold on to the handrails. You'll see they are provided everywhere, in corridors, stairways, around the open decks. just mind your step and take it easy. Walk slowly and carefully and just observe and be mindful of your surroundings at all times for you to stay safe. That's the end of the day, the most important thing. We all there want to just enjoy themselves and have a good time and stay safe on board. It is my main duty, safety of the vessel and its movements, and the comfort and safety of all the souls on board, including all the 1,600 crew members and all our guests. So appreciate your cooperation, and I thank you for your attention, and we'll see you around the ship. Thank you very much. Have a good day.